Good afternoon, Mahipal sir. Are you there?
Yes, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Very well.
Okay.
Uh,
Uh,
shall we start?
sure, we can start.
So, participants, we are delighted to welcome Dr. Mahipal Jadeja, a leading researcher and passionate educator at MNIT Jaipur, whose work bridges theoretical computer science and cutting-edge generative AI. Sir has received his PhD degree from the Dhirubhai Ambani Institute of Information and Communication Technology in the field of theoretical computer science.
Sorry, your voice is breaking, I guess. I'm not sure about others, but I can't hear properly.
Uh, am I audible, sir, now?
Yes, yes, now you are audible properly. Thank you.
Maybe probably this was because of the video. Okay.
No issues, no issues. Yeah,
Yeah.
fine.
So, participants, we are delighted to welcome Dr. Mahipal Jadeja, a leading researcher and passionate educator at MNIT Jaipur, whose work bridges theoretical computer science and cutting-edge generative AI. Sir has received his PhD degree from Dhirubhai Ambani Institute of Information Communication Technology in the field of theoretical computer science. Uh, his research interests include generative AI and its application in productivity, education, and personalized learning, alongside theoretical computer science and machine learning on graph neural networks. He has published several journal articles, book chapters, and a reference book, Springer, in these domains. His research work is presented at reputed international conferences, including GSB SIGIR 2015, Chile, WAAC 2016 Japan, SCAI ICTIR 2017 Netherlands, and ICAAE 2023 Australia. He has supervised 3 PhD students, 15 MTech students, and currently he is supervising 5 PhD students and 3 MTech students. On his YouTube channel, CS Simplified, he has uploaded more than 150 academic videos. To date, the channel has received more than 390,000 views. He has also developed a massive open online course on Python programming, which has attracted over 1,750 learners and boasts an impressive average rating of 4.75 out of 5. Dr. Mahipal Jadeja has delivered numerous expert talks at prestigious venues, including a session on AI-powered advancement in education organized by Dr. Ria Lavi from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, the top-ranked institute of the world. He's the only Indian educator featured by OpenAI in its ChatGPT for Education newsletter for developing Python Ki Pathshala, India's first bilingual Hindi-English GPT-powered tutor, a custom GPT for Python programming. This project embodies a vision for accessible and personalized learning using AI to bridge both linguistic and conceptual gaps. He has also been featured in the OpenAI Academy, Professors Teaching with AI series, recognized globally for reimagining Python education with generative AI. In addition, he collaborates with the AI in Education at Oxford University, AIEOU, Interdisciplinary Research Hub on ethical and human centered approaches to AI in education, where his article Code or Clicks Reassessing Programming Skills in an AI driven World was published, marking his contribution to one of the most respected global conversation on the future of AI in education. We welcome you, sir, and I'll now
Uh,
hand over this session to you.
Thank you so much for the nice introduction. And I would also like to thank Professor Manju for organizing FDP on this particular important domain, and also for inviting me. So let me share my screen, and once you see it, please confirm. I'm also using two screens, so I'll be able to see, but still. So hopefully my screen is visible now.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay, okay, thank you. So the theme, if we focus on the theme of this particular FDP, then it's about knowledge discovery, right? So now the question may come that is it ethical, right? Of course, so therefore the first word is ethics over here. That usually whenever we kind of use AI or any of the, let's say, mechanism, let's say, even if we look for internet, then usually we talk about information, right? And there's a difference between information and knowledge, right? So, and of course, it's unethical to kind of provide information which is kind of given by LLMs as and say it's nothing but knowledge, right? So, in this particular talk, I'll be talking about what are the ethical pathways using which we can discover knowledge in true sense. And the idea is, of course, I will be focusing on prompt engineering, custom GPTs. Apart from that, I will also introduce some of the state-of-the-art AI tools which can kind of help us with respect to our objective. And I know that you already know kind of basics of prompt engineering, and I guess parts framework you already know. So I won't be spending too much time over there. But I will be talking about one different framework, and I will showcase how and where it's applicable. And in between, if you feel that anything is required to be added or discussed, then you can, of course, stop me, and or alternatively, you can just write in the chat box, and I'll be able to kind of answer your queries, and also we can discuss a variety of things. Okay. So now I'm going to start with this particular quote. A good idea is something that does not solve just one single problem, but rather can solve multiple problems at once. So this is very much true in the context of prompt engineering, right? So if you are good with prompting, then it won't just solve kind of your desired problem with respect to, let's say, education domain. It can solve variety of problems like including content generation, or maybe something related to your daily life, or anything, right? Whatever is possible with respect to one can say LLM, right? You can sense that if you are good prompter, then you will be able to kind of accomplish a lot, and you will be able to kind of utilize the true potential of LLM systems if you are good prompter, right? So that's the motivation. And now let's start with this particular quote. If I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on it, then I would spend the first 55 minutes determining the proper question to ask. But once I know the proper question, I could solve the problem in less than 5 minutes. This is very much true in the context of life, research, or even prompting, right? So if we talk about life, then you must know, right, what you must visualize, that what you want to become. So let's say you want to become your nth version, and currently you are at n minus one. So if you don't visualize who you want to become, then you won't be able to take this path and kind of become what you want, right? So it's before you do anything, right? Usually in your mind, you have some end goal in your mind, and you visualize it, and you believe that that end goal must be achieved, and therefore you take some action. Right? For example, you would like to enhance your understanding of AI in ethical sense. Therefore, you are attending this particular FDP. Right? So now in the context of research, right, it's evident, right? So many of you are pursuing PhD, and some of you have already obtained your PhD degree. So all of you will agree that in PhD, right, majority of your initial time, like initial 2 years are given just for problem identification, and then you focus on solving it, right? So to asking right question is kind of very much important aspect of any research or anything which you want like to accomplish. So now in the context of prompting, how this is relevant. So let's say usually what we do, okay, so let me just change my screen. What we usually do, let me try to share it from here, or maybe I can also showcase from here, right? It won't take much time. So, okay, so I can go over here. Let's say, let me go to any of the LLM. So let's say Chat GPT. So now, whenever this kind of blank screen appears, right, whether it's of Google or LLM, uh, in the context of it may be a blank kind of text box with respect to your WhatsApp or Instagram platform also. But usually we have a specific objective in our mind. Let's say if I am sending a message to my friend, then I have a plan in my mind that I would like to spend the Sunday with him or her, and we will go for a movie or something, right? And then accordingly, I kind of put the corresponding request or message. But unfortunately, we treat all the LLMs just like normal Google search, right? We are very lazy and we don't give enough context. We just kind of use ChatGPT just like Google, right? And we just put some request without like anything else, right? And therefore we don't get what we want, right? So that's the so what is my first suggestion? Before even you start typing, right, you must be able to visualize what you want as an end product or as an end outcome. If you can't visualize it, then you won't be able to convert, or if you can't imagine it, then you won't be able to see it. And if you can't see it, then you won't be able to transform that particular information into words so that LLM can kind of accomplish that particular task for you. Right? So imagination, visualization, and to know what you want and after completion of the conversation before even start, right, that's the key part which is often missing, right? So what I request, whenever you use Chat GPT or Gemini or any of the LLM tool, before you even start typing, you should be able to kind of visualize and then convey properly that what you would like to have in terms of final outcome, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is about asking the right question. I already mentioned about it. Asking the right question is as important as answering them. And why this is even more relevant in the era of, one can say, LLM. So if you normally see, let's say f of x is equal to, let's say, 5x plus 7. So all of you will agree that the outcome of this particular function depends upon what value of x you are providing, right? So in other words, any function is nothing but it's about function of input. It depends whatever outcome we are going to get with respect to that particular function. It depends very much on the input which we are going to provide. And now you can imagine this app is nothing but your Chat GPT or Gemini, and all of us are having same model. Then how we will ensure the uniqueness? How will you ensure that your generated content is different than mine and it looks more human type, right? It doesn't feel that it is generated by AI. So for that particular purpose, right, we have to understand something more. So that means we have to understand that whatever outcome which is going to be provided by our LLM models very much depend upon our input. And now we have to kind of understand how intelligently, properly should craft prompts. In other words, how intelligently we should give input so that our output kind of being differentiated. Right? So that's the idea of this. And the last one and the most important one is the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions. Not only this, but whom you ask this particular questions to, right? That is also equally important, right? So let's say suddenly I am having some issues with my heart and I go to Professor Manju, ma'am, please help me, right? I am having trouble with my heart. So then she will say, are you mad? Go to proper cardiologist, right? He will be able to guide you, right? So it's she is doctor, Professor Manju, but not doctor of medicine, right? So for any of the query, let's say you got a job at let's say a particular company, let's say Y, and now you would like to decide whether to join Y or not. Then whom you will ask? Will you go and ask the peon of this particular company or CEO or some kind of person who is working there since last 5 or 7 years, right? Of course, you will prefer the working professional over there or maybe CEO if he or she is available, right? So whom you are asking the question, that is also equally important. And this is kind of very much kind of ignored in the while we do prompting, right? Because the idea is this our Chat GPT or Gemini, that any of the LLM models, they are trained on tremendous amount of data, and because of this, they can take any of the okay, just a second. Right. So because of that, they can take any of the avatars, right? They can take millions of avatars. So you can imagine that entire city of Jaipur is like one big library. And now, what you would like to do is you would like to ask a particular question from a particular domain. Let's say my domain is X, maybe let's say topic X, which is nothing but AI in education. What are the applications of AI in education? Let's say I am interested in this particular domain. And now, if you don't put any context in your prompt, if you don't give any rule, then what will happen? It's like you are asking to the librarian, right? So, and librarian will have only generic knowledge about each and every section of the library. Whereas imagine a scenario where each and every section of the library has separate set of experts, right? So, for example, I have one dedicated expert, EX, who has read all the books about AI in education. And now, if I ask my question to this particular expert EX, then you will be agree that the response quality will be significantly better instead of asking to generic librarian, right? So that's the whole idea, that instead of so now we have range of topics, topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, up to topic n. On the y-axis, I am putting quality. So now what I'm interested in on a particular topic, I would be interested in a very high quality output like this, right? So I want to ensure that the focus of ChatGPT on is on this particular region where quality is extremely high on a particular topic, right? So how to do this? That we will discuss now. Okay, so now let me just share my screen from this particular device. Just a second. I'm just looking for controls. They are hidden. Fine. Now it's visible. So let me share my screen. Okay, fine. So hopefully my screen is visible. So now I'm starting with this particular. Uh, okay, just a second. Let me just verify. Can anyone just okay? Yes, it's visible. Fine, thank you. So now, as you can see, now let's see this in action. So usually we write like this, right? Whatever problem we have with respect to one can say our query, right? Whatever query we have, usually we just write like this, that my blood pressure is this, suggest me something, and then we get some response. This is not wrong, but compare this with my second prompt, right? So this is not wrong, right? Whatever we are getting, it's making sense. Some steps are given, some four suggestions are given, but very briefly, okay? But now I am asking the same query, but before my query, I have written this particular role, that assume a role of a cardiologist having experience of 25 plus years, and then I'm putting the same query. And as you can see, the response is quite detailed, right? So if you go through this particular response, right? So it's giving me steps. Along with steps, it's also giving me kind of sub steps. Like, so first focus must be on daily routine, do these changes in daily routine. Second step is follow this particular DASH diet, and what DASH diet means, it's also explaining me. Then step 3 is exercise and weight management. As step 4, right, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, it's giving me a lot of details, and it's also summarizing everything, right? So what are the consequences and what one should do in order to avoid this particular situation? And in follow up, it's also suggesting breathing exercise, right? So just by adding the context, you can see how drastically the response is improving, right? So always ensure that before you kind of ask your query, imagine who is the best person to ask this particular query, and not necessarily that every time whatever you write, that particular person exists in physical world, right? You can like for example, in the case of physics, you can also mention that assume a role of Albert Einstein, right? And then you can put whatever query you have. And sometimes you may be working on some niche, some kind of unique domain where not necessary that some expert exists. Then you can just say that assume all these qualities, and then you can start with your query, right? So that's the idea of this first observation, that always kind of ensure that you put nothing but context, or in context, in other words, ensure that we assign a proper character for the underlying request to our prompt, right? Before even we go ahead with our request, ensure that we do this, so that now ChatGPT will focus on that particular subset of knowledge base, and the response will be of even higher quality, right? So that's the whole idea of the first aspect of this particular create framework. C stands for character, and I already explained about it. R stands for request. I don't need to explain about it because you already know. E stands for examples, and this is also quite important part, and many of the times we don't mention that. So, for example, let's say you are trying to generate or write new emails, and you want to ensure that the outcome must follow your tone and language, right? So then you can provide a set of emails which you have written in the last couple of years as nothing but examples, right? Some of them at least you can provide. And apart from that, type of output is also equally important, right? So many of the times we kind of try to generate caption of our Instagram post, and ChatGPT gives us kind of one lengthy paragraph, and vice versa. Sometimes we want detailed answers, but ChatGPT is giving us very kind of brief output in some sense. So how to ensure that what we want, and we get it right directly without so overall objective, what why we are taking this much pain with respect to prompting. So the overall idea is we would like to obtain what we want, and that too in as less time as possible, because we would like to improve our productivity, right? So that's the whole objective. So if you can visualize what you want, and if you can say it in the prompt itself, then the quality of outcome will be even better, and that too without kind of having a very long change of conversation, right? So that's the objective. We want to minimize the length of the conversation without compromising the quality. So for example, many of the times you would be having you would prefer to have output in terms of table, in terms of comparison, so you must explicitly write it. But we don't write it, and then we get something, and then we don't like it, and then we try with some different templates and so on and so forth. And now since last, I guess, 6 to 7 months, ChatGPT also supports emojis, right? So you can explicitly mention that use as many or as less emojis as possible for the particular type of output. So it depends upon your proper use case. I can't cover all the use cases over here, but I am focusing on the technique more, because if you know the technique, then use cases can be infinitely many, right? So it's up to you, right, on which domains you are working. But of course, I will take some concrete examples, including summarization tasks, so that you can appreciate how good this particular framework is and how well it performs. Now, apart from that, there are two other things like extras and adjustments, but I will talk about them once I take some concrete examples. So let me take that particular example now only. So let me go to this second conversation. And here I have kind of included all the aspects of this create framework, and you will be able to appreciate how good it works in the proper setup. So what is the idea? What I want to achieve first? Let me just highlight that, and then we will go through this particular prompt and understand how it works. So the idea is, let's say you are alone at home, and you would like to prepare a new kind of recipe for you, okay? And we are going to use ChatGPT for coming up with a new kind of dish which is sensible, and also has kind of Indian mixture of Indian as well as kind of foreign flavor, right? So that's the whole idea. So now I must start with if you can recall the C of create framework, then C stands for character. So I must start with this, that you are an award-winning Indian chef, because I don't want to compromise in the quality. So instead of just saying normal chef, I'm saying you are an award-winning Indian chef with 20 plus years of professional experience, and you also have knowledge of international recipes. And then what other qualities of yours? You craft vibrant dishes that celebrate regional Indian flavors with fusion of global techniques, right? So this is nothing but C part, right? I haven't put any request so far. This is just nothing but description of the persona which ChatGPT must take before we go further, right? Now, I'm saying that first ask the ingredients and this is nothing but my request part, right? Just I'm saying that please begin by asking. For now, I'm just asking for the ingredients that because I must mention what all ingredients I have before it can give me the answer. Now you can appreciate that next part, which is nothing but example, right? So I have given all these examples: Sanjeev Kapoor, Vikas Khanna, Gagan Anand, Vineet Bhatia. All of these are famous Indian chefs, right? So I'm giving that particular example, and this is nothing but called adjustment, right? What adjustment I have made that use metric measurements. So that means we are in India, so we follow this grams, milliliters, teaspoons, tablespoons, cups, this measurement, right? So I don't want some measurements in pounds or something, right? So I must explicitly mention this. Next one is, this is also quite interesting. This is also part of adjustment. Select only the ingredients you need, right? So many of the times we feel that AI is like our friend, but it's not true literally. Like for example, let's say if I am sad, then my friend will just see me and he or she will be able to guide me or say something so that I can feel better. But with AI, like ChatGPT, with LLMs, we have to explicitly mention what we want. And if we leave something on kind of ChatGPT, then it may assume some things which are not correct. For example, if I don't write this particular line, then ChatGPT may assume that all the ingredients are kind of mandatory, and then it will mix it up and then come up with something which is not eatable or drinkable. So you mention all the details as explicitly as possible. Do not leave any kind of rule for assumption, right? So that's the idea of adjustments. And the next one, as you can see, do not suggest any recipe until I provide my list. That is the next point. So that means first we will provide the list and then only the recipe will come. And now I'm focusing on type of output, what I want in my output. Clear title, single paragraph of around 100 words, complete ingredient list with metric quantities, and straightforward step by step instruction in plain English. Okay, so this is nothing but my entire prompt. Then of course it will ask me for what all ingredients I have in my kitchen. Okay, so then I have given this, right? These are kind of very common ingredients which are usually available in all Indian households. So I've just given the list of ingredients. Okay, and then you can see the outcome, right? So this is the title of the dish, right? Uh, right, khichdi with smoky tomato tadka, and this is the overview, right? What's the idea of this particular dish, right? It's not talking about how to prepare it, but it's explaining what all it has taken. Like so, it has inspired by Sanjeev Kapoor's balanced flavors, Gagan Anand's flair of reinvention, Vinit Bhatia's all those things like related to food. So I am not good with it, so I'm just avoiding this. But you can sense that it's first justifying that why it has come up with this, what are the characteristics, what all characteristics it has picked up from the given kind of character as well as examples. And then it's giving me neat ingredient list, right? So all of these are ingredients, as you can see, along with quantity, or what should be the quantity of each and every ingredient. And then the most important part, step by step process, how to kind of prepare this, as you can see. And so this is a very nice use case, right? One can come up with nice recipes with the help of AI just by using nice prompting mechanism, right? So hopefully you appreciate this. In case of any queries, of course, you can type in the chat box, or you can unmute also and ask me if you have. Okay, so now let me go to, so hopefully this first use case is kind of you have understood it properly. And now one can also go further, right? What will be the calorie distribution along with nutrition values? I want this in the form of bullet lists. So then it's giving me this list also, because let's say if I would like to publish this on Instagram, or if I want to make a YouTube video about this, then I must also provide all these details, right? And in case of commercialization, of course, this will be required. So as you can see, it's also giving me all this details. Okay, fine. Now let me go to the second use case, right? So second use case is quite interesting. All of us would like to read as many books as possible, but we usually don't find that much time. So how to use AI to kind of help us with respect to uh, kind of not reading, one can say, but let's say summarizing in some sense books. Okay. So now again, I'm going to follow the create framework. So you can recall what is the idea of create. C stands for character, R stands for request. Request, all of you know, so I don't need to explain much. Examples, now you know, right, what all examples we can give. Adjustments, sometimes we need adjustments just like weight measurements and also to kill some assumptions. This is required. And some type of output, right? What we want, whether we want only one paragraph of 200 words, bulleted list, or a detailed report, or we want something fancy for kids, right? So emojis, right? So this you can explicitly mention in this particular subsection. Okay, and some extras are also there. I will come to that afterwards. Okay, so now let's consider the second use case. You are a highly experienced writer who writes concise and readable. So what is the objective over here? Let me state that first. So let's say I'm interested in learning about this particular book, famous book by Dale Carnegie, How to Make Friends and Influence People, and I don't have time to let's say read this particular book. So now I want just a 5 bullet point summary, right? What's the core idea of this particular book, and one sentence summary which will summarize the entire book. And I would like to have a prompt for it, right? So the idea is this say stands for character. You are a highly experienced writer who writes concise, readable text without stop words, filler words, or jargon. Now I am putting my request, right? This is the request. This is the book, and just give summary of it, right? So I haven't kind of use examples over here because it's not required as of now. And then this is type of output, right? I haven't used any adjustments or any extras. They are not required for this particular task. And as you can see, now it's giving me, right, only right, 5 bullet points: show genuine interest in others, avoid criticism, give honest and sincere appreciation, right? Let others feel the idea is theirs, right? So these tips, right, which are provided by Carnegie has been listed over here. And this is the one sentence summary of the entire book, right? What's the core idea of this particular book, right? So now I am asking for actionable points. That's what all things I can do from this particular book, right? So give me 15 actionable points instead of 5. So that then it will give me 15 points, right? So small but important kind of recommendations like smile, be a good listener, right? All of these are tips if you want to make kind of friends more, right? So if you are wrong, admit it quickly, begin it in a friendly way, right? So on and so forth, right? And now I'm also, so it's like if you focus on the first 4 letters of chat GPT, then it's chat. So chat means interaction. So it's not like that whatever answer it's given you accept it, right? If that's what you want, then it's fine. But many of the times you would prefer to have something else. So whatever you want you must explicitly mention. So this is called reiteration, right? So now I'm focusing on only top 3 important points and explain them in detail so that I can kind of focus on kind of implementation part, right? So don't criticize or complain. That's give honest and sincere appreciation, and it's giving me in details now that what I should do if I want to kind of perform some action with respect to the corresponding point. So as you can see, okay. Fine. So this was fine, but this was with respect to kind of one can say book. But you can use the same prompt, right? You can use the same prompt for summarizing something else also, right? So for example, let me go to new chat, and this time I will modify this particular kind of prompt for summarization of some kind of one can say text which we have with us. Okay, so let me close this and let me focus on new chat. Just a sec. Okay, fine. So what I'm going to do now, let me go to Wikipedia. Okay, let me just check some comment is there, I guess. Okay, I will come to this particular question, sure. But before that, let me first focus on this from framework and then other things. Okay, so now let me go to this. Let's say I'm just searching. Let me go to Google first, and let's say I'm just going to Sachin Tendulkar. Okay. It's taking slightly more time. Just a second. Okay, fine. So now it's coming. So what I will do, I will just copy first, I guess, 5 to 6 sections from uh, nothing but Wikipedia page of Sachin Tendulkar. And then we will see how summarization works with respect to create framework, right? So of course we can just give this and say summarize this, but the response won't be of that good quality uh, if we just do like that. So let me just try to demonstrate the power of this framework. So I'm trying to copy, let me go up to middle at least. Let me copy the half Wikipedia page at least. But you can imagine the use cases, right? It can be a whole unit of yours which you have taught or which you would like to kind of uh, learn, right? So, okay, so now let's say up to this I am copying. And now I'm back to Chat GPT, okay? And I will just paste this whatever I have copied from Wikipedia. So it should appear very soon. Just a second, it's taking slightly more time. Hopefully it should appear very soon. So the idea is we are going to modify the same kind of prompt, but with here instead of kind of giving the name of the book, what we are going to do, we will just provide the entire text which we have copied from the Wikipedia page and then tell it to summarize, right? So now it's here, right? So it was too long, so therefore I guess it took a lot of time. So let me try to go to kind of in the beginning of this particular thing so that we can write our prompt, right? So here again, what I'm going to do, I will uh, I will just copy the initial part from the prompt which we have already have, right, for summarization, or I can directly write over also, but just to save time, let me just try to copy it if I can. Okay, let me try to close. Okay, so this is WebEx. I can't close it. Just a second. Okay, meanwhile, I can showcase you some other examples also, which are already there in my slides, and then we'll come back to this particular kind of use case. So as you can see, I have taken 3 different examples. The first one is, of course, summarization, which I've already explained. The second one is, let's say you want to create some marketing emails, then how you should write the corresponding prompt. And the third one is with respect to education. Let's say you would like to have explanation about a particular theorem of mathematics, right? Let's say Pythagoras theorem, right? So that's the idea. So as you can see, for mailing task, I have this kind of request, professional email inviting colleague for a meeting on next Monday at 10 a.m. For mathematics, I have this Pythagoras theorem task. And request, as you can see, I don't need to explain about request. It's very obvious. But the important thing is example. So as you can see, if I want to write a marketing email, then I can follow someone who has accomplished a lot in this particular domain. For example, Apple's marketing emails are quite simple yet innovating and inviting. Right, so we can say that draft the email in a tone and structure which is similar to Apple's product announcement email, simple, innovative, and inviting. So then it will automatically mimic Apple's kind of tone. Similarly, for normal writing style, you can give reference to standard newspapers like Economist or Harvard Business Review. And for mathematical example, you can take inspiration from Khan Academy, which provides usually clear visual and practical representations for mathematical concepts. So by providing examples, you can enhance the capabilities or of your output in some sense, right? And some adjustments, as you can see, we don't want a very long email, so we can give this instruction that limit it to only 3 sentences and use your tone professional yet friendly. And with respect to mathematics, we can say just give theorem and proof. Don't give any unrelated details. And we can also give some kind of one can say other type of adjustments, like I mentioned, to kill assumptions. And then we can specify the type of output, right? So many of you don't know that you can also use kind of latex kind of LLMs for generation of latex code, right? So for example, if you are writing any research paper and you want a particular template, let's say you want something in a table representation, then if you do it manually by your own, then you must have good thorough understanding of latex. But with the help of LLM, we just need to say that this is my template and just give me the latex code for the same, and this is my text, so it will give you. And if you don't want to provide the text, then you can just say that give me the template, at least give me the structure with some demo text in it, and then we can replace demo text with our actual text. Right? So that's how you can save time with respect to repetitive tasks like latex code generation. And with respect to mathematics, we are just saying that my type of output must be nothing but a bullet list followed by a diagram, right, which will showcase the idea of Pythagoras theorem, right? So those are called nothing but our type of output. And sometimes we also need enhancements, or one can say extras are required. Let's, for example, let's say I am continuing with the same conversation and I was talking about some Bollywood movie, and suddenly I would like to talk about, let's say, computer science. So I can just say ignore all previous context and start from scratch, right? Forget everything, whatever we have discussed so far. And now, so this is just to kill just to save time with respect to clicking on that particular button of new chat, right? So you can continue on the same thread, but you can discuss on a number of kind of, one can say, variations, right? Or a number of topics, one can say. And next one is also kind of for teachers, right? The very much important one, also for students. The important ones are, like, say, whenever we would like to understand a difficult topic, then we can say explain like you are explaining to a 10-year-old, right? So that it will break down the kind of topic with a lot of metaphors, which are kind of easier for us to understand. So that's how you can use this extras to enhance your kind of output in some sense. Okay, so just give me a minute. Hopefully, it should work very soon. Meanwhile, let me go to one more kind of use case. So now, how many of you have used ChatGPT for writing a story or poem or something for doing something creative? Can anyone tell me some use case which is your favorite with respect to some creative task, not just one can say traditional fact checking or, let's say, citation generation or right? I'm not talking about those things, but something creative like poem or something. Can anyone suggest some tasks which requires high level of creativity in the chat box? Okay, so now let me go to this. Okay, summarizing review of literature. It's a very relevant, one can say, use case with respect to whatever I would discuss. And it's a nice connection that we can provide kind of text of a particular chapter, and then we can ask it for summarization. That is fine. But I am asking about creative part, right? Something else, not the formal kind of teaching or results, but I'm asking about where we can use it with respect to, let's say, story or poem. Have you tried it? Any? Okay, fine. So maybe I can just take one example and then showcase what I'm trying to say. So let's say I just say, give me. Okay. Okay, fine. So now I will continue one thread only so that we can save time. Okay. So give me, let's say, 5 or maybe let's say 10 10 is fine. So 10 tips for, okay, hopefully, okay, fine. So here this is already there. So let me just first complete this and then we will talk about that second part which I was discussing. Okay. So now here I can just paste this part of my prompt with respect to summarization, right? And then we can see how well it can give summary of it. Okay, just a second. Let me close this. This is not required. This I've already opened, but it's taking some more time. Anyways, okay, fine. So maybe it's better that I will come back to this after some time. Let me go over here. And of course, I got one suggestion, but I will come to that also afterwards. But let me start with this something simpler. And then because this image generation may take some time, so we'll explore it after some time, or maybe you can do this afterwards. But let me just try to demonstrate something first. So give me, let's say, 10 tips. Okay, so now I'm not sure why. Okay, let me just remove this. Okay, give me 10 tips about time management, let's say. Okay, this is my prompt, right? I am not following any create framework for this because this is quite generic and it's a very common question one can ask, right? So now it's giving me some routines which are very common, right? Pomodoro technique, a lot of apps are available there, and we know about all of this. Limit multitasking, right? One should focus on only one task. So these are very, one can say, traditional suggestions, which all of us know, right? More or less. So now what I'm going to do, I will copy the same prompt, but with just one modification. I will just say temperature is equal to 2. And now you will be able to see the difference. So as you can see, uh, it's understanding that now the responses will be more creative, less conventional, and slightly out of the box suggestion, right? So as you can see, first one is treat time as currency, right? So imagine you have exactly 86,400 coins each days, right? Uh, this is very much counterintuitive. Instead of planning what to do, plan what not to do, and this will, in some sense, save your time. Okay, and this is also very fantastic. Theme days. Monday must be for admin day. Tuesday, oh, and it also has context, right? It knows that I am in from teaching learning background, so therefore its themes are like this. In your case, it may be something else. Uh, Practice micro scheduling, borrow future you. Okay, so this is very important one. As you can see, write short notes to future self. Don't check email before 11 a.m., right? So specific time is allocated for some specific task and you are not allowed to do it before it, and you are sending this message to yourself so that you can save time, right? So apply the 2 minute magnet, right? So that is nothing but if task is less than 2 minutes, then do it immediately, right? So and so on and so forth. So what is the purpose of this? So that means for the same prompt, let me try one more time. What I'm going to do now, I will copy paste the same kind of prompt, but this time I am giving temperature is equal to 1.5. So that means just by changing the values of one can say temperature, you can have different versions of the same one can say query, right? In terms of responses, you can generate n number of different responses for the same query just by changing temperature. So temperature is a measure of creativity levels. If you keep it very low, then all the information will be must be kind of towards fact based, and if you keep it towards high side, then the responses will be of very creative nature, right? There will be the facts will be less, but it will be of very creative nature, right? So for example, if you are writing a poem, then high temperature is recommended. But if you are checking some facts, then default temperature is fine, right? So as you can see, this is something in between. So as you can see, practically what people are doing with some creative insight. So this is something in between which we are going to get, right? Map time to energy, not just clock hours, adapt a single tab mindset, work backwards from deadline. Right? So all of these are not too traditional and not too creative also. This is something in between, right? So this is the whole idea of temperature, right? So I'm not spending too much time over here because I would like to cover a lot of things. But if I just showcase the summarization of this, then we are trying to control, right? And why we are focusing on only these two things? Because if we look at the big picture, then mainly two things which we are which we can, if we can control, then we can kind of accomplish a lot with respect to chat gpt. The first thing is creativity, and the second one is of course length, right? If creativity, depending upon the task, if we can change, then the response will be kind of unique also, and it won't look that it is generated by AI, because it will have different flavors in terms of outcome with different creativity levels. And the second one is of course length. So as you can see, with respect to temperature, these are some of the tasks for which you require very high temperature. For example, let's say you would like to come up with a new startup, then it's a if your idea is creative, then it's very likely that it will be appreciated, right? So then you must go for high temperature value. So let me just give you two examples, then you will be able to appreciate this even further. So for example, if I am asking this kind of question, what is the capital of France, then low temperature is fine. But if I am asking describe Paris in an alternate reality, then of course I will be needing very high value of temperature, because it will be if creativity is good, then the response will be even better, right? So as you can see, I have given some ranges over here, that low temperature tasks are for technical, legal, or scientific queries. Medium temperature for accuracy and creativity. You can go for some kind of professional writing or general conversation. You can try any temperature. For example, if you want to paste something, or I should say you post something on, let's say, LinkedIn, then you must have there is no rule, right? So you can have any temperature value. But if you want to kind of verify some facts with respect to your research papers, then of course you must have very low temperature value, right? So these are the ranges, as you can see, from 0 to 2. And I'm just highlighting that whenever you would like to generate something out of the box, then you must go for very high value of temperature. For example, write a poem in the style of Shakespeare, but about AI. And then if you have temperature is equal to 2, then the response will be extremely creative. So all of these are nothing but some example tasks, right? So I'm not implementing or showcasing each one of them, but you can try by your own, right? We have some time for hands-on activity. You can pick one use case, right? You can think about one use case where this can be of use, right? High temperature. Okay, so I guess even let me share it one more time. Somehow it got disconnected.
Mahipal sir? Okay, sir. Okay.
Is there any problem?
No, ma'am. I think, sir, it's just sharing the screen again.
Okay. He's sharing the screen.
I hope I'm audible. Can anyone confirm?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm also joining from other device, but meanwhile, I'm just starting over here. Okay, so hopefully my screen is visible. Okay, so like I mentioned, there are two aspects. The first aspects we have already discussed. It's about temperature, right? Temperature is mainly for, as you can sense, it's about creativity. But apart from that, the second aspect is also equally important. That is for how to control, in some sense, length of our responses, right? So the idea is many of the times we kind of ask this type of question. We put in our query that number of words must be around 500 or maybe around, let's say, 400. And when we actually check how many numbers or number of words have appeared in the outcome, then usually it's around. It's not exactly 500 for sure. Many of the times we feel that number of words, if we check actually in by pasting whatever response we have got in, let's say, Word file or maybe Google Docs, and if we count the number of words, then we feel that it's either less than the number X, whatever we have given, or maybe more than that, but not exactly X, right? And sometimes the difference is kind of around 100 words also, right? For example, if you tell it to generate a report of, let's say, around 1,000 words, then and if you just count number of words which are appearing in the output, then you will see that the difference is of around 100 or 150. So how to kill this particular difference, right? How to ensure that we get what we want in terms of one can say number of words also. So for that particular purpose, just like temperature, we have one more parameter which is called tokens, right? So I guess in the initial sessions about basics of LLM, it has been covered about how to kind of one can say how LLMs work actually, and there you know about tokens, right? So the idea is Chat GPT for Chat GPT, the vocabulary is not letters or words. It kind of learns in terms of, or it reacts in terms of number of tokens. So what you can do for any of the query, right? You can limit how many kind of words will appear in the response just by mentioning the value of tokens, right? So let me just give you one example so that you can actually understand what I'm trying to say. So for example, if I say over here, okay, write I'm not kind of putting a very long kind of prompt over here. This is just to demonstrate how tokens works. So therefore, I'm just saying write about, right? We can pick any of the person, right? For example, let's say Albert Einstein. Okay, I'm just picking him. Okay, and then I'm just saying, let's say tokens is equal to, let's say some let me just give some value of token. Let's say tokens is equal to 50. Okay, and let's see what we get. Okay, and as you can see, this is roughly if you just measure, then this is nothing but 2 lines only. Now what I'm going to do, I will just use the same prompt, but this time instead of this 50, right, I will just say 500. Okay, so this is my second prompt. So here instead of 50, I'm going to say, let's say 500. So you can see now the response length is changed drastically. And roughly, if you compute, then in the previous response, it was just 2 lines. And here, if you count, then roughly 20 lines will be there, right? So the idea is these models, LLMs, they work nicely. They understand the language of, one can say, tokens very easily as compared to the other language of, one can say, words, right? So what I recommend, instead of mentioning, instead of limiting the length of the output by mentioning words, what you should do ideally is you just mention about number of tokens, and then the response length will change accordingly. And what interestingly you can do is you can also combine these two things simultaneously. Like for example, it's not like that you can use just one can say one thing out of this two. Like you can also combine tokens and temperature together, and then you can put a request that give me in some sense the temperature value is, let's say we want a creative response and the length is too high, so we can say, let's say temperature is equal to 2, but at the same time I would like to have tokens is equal to, let's say, 5,000, right? So those type of combinations also you can apply with respect to this two parameters, tokens and temperature. right? So hopefully you understand this. And any queries up to this point? I'm just trying to join from my other device also. Meanwhile, if you have any queries, you can just unmute and ask me. Okay, fine. So now let me go to the next segment there. Then, so now we have talked about this in detail, how to write a good prompt, and hopefully you understand and appreciate it. It's all about giving more context, more relevant examples, one can say. And apart from that, you don't, you should not leave anything on. In some sense, one can say Chat GPT or Gemini. You must explicitly mention what you want. So then the response quality will be even better. So that is all these things we have seen. Now the idea is, this is all about one can say existing, how to use existing Chat GPT or Gemini system nicely. But as Charles Darwin has said, it is not just the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. So what changes we can do with respect to existing framework of Chat GPT or Gemini or any of the LLM systems, right? So the answer is custom GPT, right? So what's the idea of custom GPT? So let's say I'm good with prompting, and I have used, let's say, around 100 different prompts for variety of tasks, and I felt that one of those prompt was working very fine because I have domain knowledge with respect to that particular problem, and I had provided enough context, examples, or the examples doesn't mean that you just write or you just type a couple of emails or a couple of names in terms of examples. You can also provide
Hello?
entire files with respect to examples. Like for
Is
example,
there any
let's say,
problem in audio?
huh? Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Hopefully, Professor Manju is saying I'm not audible, so therefore I stopped. Okay. Uh, so the idea is how to kind of utilize this. So let's say I was giving example of, let's say, my own course. Let's say I'm good with generating responses with respect to on a particular kind of style with respect to questions aligned with my course. Let's say Python programming. So for that particular purpose, what I've done, I've uploaded a lot of notebooks of my code with respect to along with prompt, right? And that's why I'm getting better response as compared to others, let's say. And now I felt that this entire thing, my entire prompt along with my material, right, but can be bundled and shared with all over the world, right, shared with anyone. If that can be done, then others don't need to write from scratch, and then they can utilize the power of this existing, one can say, existing successful prompts. So that is called nothing but custom GPT. So the idea of custom GPT, from the name itself, it's clear. Custom means you have customized it for a specific task. And how can you customize it for a specific task? By writing a well drafted prompt. And apart from that, you also provide kind of unique content to that particular prompt. And many of the times, it's not just about these two things. You also kind of accomplished which is missing in the existing normal Chat GPT models, right? For example, in the normal Chat GPT models, you cannot have this kind of shortcuts. Like if you write M, then it will do certain tasks. Like for example, let's say I'm trying to understand theory of relativity, and if I just press M, then Chat GPT will tell me that what's the meaning of M. I don't know. But in the case of custom Chat GPT, what you can do, in the case of custom GPT, what you can do, you can fix some meanings. Let's say you can say M stands for metaphors, right? So whenever someone writes M10, then what will happen if you prompted it like this, that M10 means give metaphors which are kind of understandable to a 10-year-old guy. So then automatically the response will be aligned to that.
So hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say. It's not just about one can say just nice prompt and nice material. It's also about creativity. What problems you are trying to kind of address with the help of creation of now new customized GPT. So that's the idea of custom GPT. So as you can see, I've already highlighted its core objective over here. As you can see, it's about one can say you have to provide some specific type of so first thing, the one misconception with respect to custom GPT is that many of the times people try to create it with a set of different objectives in the mind. So you have to kind of be very sure that don't try to kind of connect try to accomplish a lot of objectives just by creating one unique GPT for all the tasks, right? So the GPT must be whatever GPT you are creating, that must be for some specific task only, right? It should not be generic. So that's the first rule, right? So it's all about instead of talking to generalists, you are going to talk about some specific domain expert, right? So that's the whole idea of custom GPT, right? So this is one of the GPT which I have created, and it was kind of featured by OpenAI also. So the idea was whatever kind of one can say GPTs are available for now, or maybe we can just go to Chat GPT and just put our query. But what is the limitation of it? Let's say I would like to share, I would like to my students to focus only on Python programming. So, and if I give them access to Chat GPT, if I tell them to use Chat GPT, then what will happen? They can ask all type of questions to Chat GPT, and Chat GPT will be able to answer them because it's designed like that. Whereas if I request them to land on my custom GPT, then this is designed only for Python programming. So only answers aligned with Python programming will be given by this particular GPT. So that's the first use case, as you can imagine, that you are asking for some specific case, a specific domain. So then responses will be like that only, right? So that you can avoid distraction. That's the first use case. Second use case is like, as you can see over here, it supports two different languages, not just English, but it also supports Hindi. And by default, the responses will be Hindi itself, right? So it will kill that particular language barrier, right? Which is there in especially in the Indian context, because many of the times first year students come to the institute and they are from different background. They don't know English, and we try to explain everything in English, right? So and then there is a gap, right? So here not only the responses will come in just in Hindi, but if someone doesn't like, he or she can just write E, and the same response will be converted into English, right? So that level of flexibility is there. And apart from that, there is mixed mode also, like English mode is also there. So if you go for that particular mode, then it will be a mixture of Hindi as well as English, right? So many of the students also prefer that mode. So this is how I kind of tried to address the first barrier of language. The second barrier is with respect to personalization. Like we as a teacher, I can give only one or two generic examples in the class, but my class contains around 80 different students. So how can I know what are the interest domains or interest points or hobbies of my different students? I have to interact with all of them. Like, then only I will be able to know that the person A likes football, person B likes cricket, person C likes chess, person D likes web series like Squid Games, right? Person E likes some Bollywood movie like Three Idiots. But I won't be able to give or kind of create examples of all those things in my normal class of 1 hour, because I can give only one or two generic examples with respect to whatever problem is there or whatever concept I'm trying to explain. I won't be able to generate this many different examples, right? So that level of personalization is possible with this GPT, where what I have done, I have fixed this particular simple syntax that S stands for story mode, and then student can write his or her name, and then his or her hobby, and then the topic which he or she wants to explore, and then this GPT will intelligently the of the story will be student. And since student, let's say if I just write as Rahul and dance, and then I write Olu, then the idea is, since Rahul loves dancing, and Rahul knows everything about dance, but he doesn't know anything about the concept of for loop. then this story will combine this unknown to known and bridge that particular gap. And student will be able to relate very easily because he knows dancing, but he doesn't know anything about that particular concept. So that's how he or she can relate to. And apart from that, it's also about time, right? So it's not just like that you kind of okay. So any issues, Professor Manju? Any?
No, 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 it's okay. It's fine.
Okay. Yes, fine. Thank you. So now, as you can notice, that also students get enough time, right? It's not like that. It's a tool available to them 24/7. So even if let's say there is no class or there is no kind of discussion session, students can learn at their own pace. So that is also one more advantage of this personalization, right? Okay, so as you can see that these are some of the reasons, right? So of course in a couple of minutes I will also demonstrate this to you, then you will be able to appreciate this even more. But before that, I just want to discuss core aspects of it so that you can actually create something meaningful and share it with others. And now fortunately, I guess just a couple of days back, there is one new update in Gemini also. So now you can also share your gems, not just you can create them, but you can also share it with others. So this is also kind of equivalent to, one can say, custom GPTs, and which is a very good thing. Like for example, let's say you identify some use case for your university and you feel that this particular problem is being kind of is troubling to all your colleagues or all your kind of fellow students, then you can come up with nice custom GPT and share it with all of them, and they will be able to kind of solve that particular problem very quickly, right? So that's the idea of it, right? So as you can see, these are some specific use cases, like for example, campus info assistant. One can create one nice GPT for it, right? Educational boards for course question and answer. This is also one use case, right? You can think of any particular use case, but again, like I mentioned earlier, it must be of very specific in nature, because then only the kind of it will be meaningful. If you try to keep it generic, then it won't work, right? Because generic is anyway there. ChatGPT itself is generic, right? So custom GPT must be specific. So as you can see, these are some of the things which you should consider at the time of designing custom GPT. Purpose must be clear. Custom instructions, good with prompting. That's the idea of it. Integration, you must provide some kind of data to it, so that it can improve in terms of tones and response quality. Because if you provide more relevant data, then it works even better. That's the idea of it. And of course, guardrails are the most important thing, because many of the times, like ethical aspects, when we talk about it, so explicitly we have to mention that you have your kind of, one can say, role is limited. Your scope is limited to only this points, right? You are not supposed to go beyond those points, right? So that's the idea of this guardrails, security measures which one should kind of take in order to ensure safety or of the GPTs, right? So that's the idea of it. And these are 5 custom GPTs which are kind of very popular on, and of course, first one created by me, and the remaining ones have specific objectives, as you can see, right? So, for example, if you would like to do kind of, one can say, this literature review, then Scholar GPT is one nice option. So, can anyone tell me how to find custom GPTs on ChatGPT platform? Any ideas? Because I know you know about Gemini, but you don't know about, I guess some of you at least don't know about custom GPTs.
We don't know.
So, yes, ma'am.
We don't know.
Oh, okay. Fine. Okay. So just now I will be able to connect with my laptop also. Sorry for that. And then I will just showcase it to you on GPT Store. So what's the advantage of this? You don't need to prompt from scratch. So for example, let's say you have. Okay, just a second.
Hello, sir. Sir, can we stop for a break, for tea break for 20 minutes?
If it is not, no, if you feel it is okay, like If you want to
So,
finish some,
whatever, so however you like, we can, if you want to finish, we can have the tea break later after the session.
yeah, as per your convenience, no? Like,
I hope I'm audible.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
now you are audible.
So, what I feel, like, continue the discussion at least for 5-10 minutes more, and then if you want, we can take a break. Right?
That's
So
fine,
just
sir.
a second. Sure. So let me, because I have to practically showcase this, because then only it will make sense. Unfortunately, the laptop was not kind of connected. Therefore, I was talking theoretically about what all aspects are there. But the main thing is, if you go over here, that if I open my sidebar, then you will be able to see this particular icon, right, which is called GPTs, right? So, and other option is you can directly go to this particular. Hopefully, my screen is visible. Okay, let me just also paste this link in the chat so that all of you can access it, because okay, fine. So now this is kind of our app store, right? In just in our cell phones, we have this kind of store in which a lot of apps are there. And apps are designed for some specific purpose. Like for example, if you would like to do something with respect to research, like for example, literature review, then you can directly go to the Scholar GPT. And if I click on it, then it will first showcase what's the popularity of it and how people are rating it. That's why, as you can see, 4.3 out of 5, so which is a very good rating, and number of conversation is 29 million plus, so that means a lot of people are using it. And before going into this, you can also read what's the purpose of it. So enhanced research with 200 million plus resources and built-in critical reading skills. So that means if you would like to do this kind of research, then this is the best one can say custom GPT, and you don't need to write from scratch that assume a role of this, because this is already an expert. Like if I go to Professor Manju, then I don't need to say that assume a role of professor. She is a professor, right? So here I don't need to say anything that assume a role of a good researcher who can give insights from range of different research papers and abilities to read and comprehend research very in formal as well as crisp academic language, right? I can skip all of those things. I can just straight away say what is my requirement, right? So for example, in this particular case, I can just say I want, let's pick a particular domain. Let's say ethical. I'm just going with the domain of this particular FDP. So I can just say ethical ways to discover uh, knowledge in AI era. Okay. Let's say I want to do literature review about this and focus on last 2 years only. Okay. So let's see what it gives. So of course it will ask me to some permission, because it's connected to some external third party services, but we can give that particular approval, and then you can see it's focusing on last 2 years only, and different themes are coming up with respect to this domain sub themes. And along with each sub theme, it's also providing us papers, right? And we can verify whether this particular so that this is the ethical aspect of it, right? You can also verify that whatever is being provided, whether it's actual or not, right? You can verify this facts, and you can see a lot of papers have been given, and along with each paper it's also focusing on what is the key contribution of that particular work, right? So, and you can try with any of your topic. It's not just this is just one use case that I have provided with respect to this topic, but you should provide more specific, right? So ideally, whatever your research problem is, you can give over here just to get kind of idea what other peoples are doing with respect to the underlying domain, right? So as you can see. So this is about Scholar GPT. A lot of other interesting kind of GPTs are there. So let me try to showcase some of them before we go ahead. So as you can see, Humanizer AI is one of the most popular. I guess PhD students must be aware of this Humanizer AI. So the idea is whatever content is kind of being generated. Usually nowadays we don't write it; it's generated by AI. So how to convert it into human-like content? So that's the purpose of this humanized AI, as you can see. And it's claiming it's top one AI humanizer, which can accomplish this particular task. And it has supported 8 million plus conversations so far. and rating is 4.1, right? And rated by more than 50,000 people, right? So what I can do, I will just provide some content which is generated by, let's say, AI, then it will convert it into nothing but. So let me just copy whatever is generated in the previous chat. I'm just pasting it over here, and then uh, of course it will first connect to the third party, and then some plugins are there. So I will just allow it, and then okay. So unfortunately, currently some error is there. I can just say retry. Okay. Oh, so of course. So now this is also one more thing which is coming up. As you can see, they are trying to earn, right, with the help of this kind of apps. Just like we have some kind of culture of paid apps also. So similar to this, if something becomes too popular, then they will start kind of monetization with respect to that particular service. So similar kind of case seems over here. It all only allows 212 words so far. So let me just try with this paragraph. Let's see. Okay, and hopefully if it connects, then it should be able to deliver. Okay, so as you can see now, it's humanized version, right? So we can see, right, what's the difference between this one and this one. Right? So this one seems more readable, right? At least if we just read the first two statements, then it seems that human type language is more there. So it tries to do so. It's not like that it's 100% working, but still.
Okay.
So
Can I ask
yes,
a
ma'am.
question? See, there is one
Sure,
question.
sure, ma'am.
There is one question from Dr. Suresh Kumar, but other than this,
Sure.
my query is this
Mhm.
humanized AI is very interesting, but
Mhm.
do you say that this will not show any kind of AI writings in the document? Because nowadays, with the Turnitin prejudice, there is a issue that
Right.
they just show that what part is or how much percentage is there, which is AI written. So do you think, yeah, or yeah, will you say that humanized AI will remove that?
It will reduce to some extent, not necessarily 100%, but of course there are some tricks and means people use different types of mechanisms to avoid this. So the idea is it's all about patterns. Like all the LLMs are working on stochastic models. So basically they are working on probability mechanism that in their kind of training, if sequence of words are appearing too many times together, then it's very likely that in the response also the response will be like that. So the idea is people are trying to break that particular sequence. So in between, if let's say three or four sentences are generated by, let's say, humanizer AI, and in between you put your one sentence, then effectively Turnitin will kind of it will be confused, of course. So those kind of things can be done, but again, it's unethical, right? Usually, what I feel that one should use AI for information. And like the theme of the FDP, knowledge discovery and knowledge creation must be on human side, right? If we can kind of gather a number of facts from AI, but final knowledge creation must be from our side. So that's my take. But of course, there are some other interesting things which are coming up. So I can just showcase. So Dr. Suresh, it will of course catch it up, but I'm not sure up to how extent. For example, if I give this paragraph to my kind of Turnitin, then it may give with very high probability. Let's say 70% it's AI generated. Versus if I give this paragraph, then it's very likely that it will give me something less, like maybe around 20 to 30%. That's my assumption. But that also depends upon how many people are using it. For example, today I have used this, and tomorrow Manju ma'am is also using the same paragraph for translation with this particular tool. Then somewhere in the data, this kind of response is also saved. Then Turnitin will be able to catch it very easily. It will say it's AI generated. So that's the idea. But of course, it will reduce to some extent. But I will let me try to showcase one interesting ethical use case of this. So recently, I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but Classroom, Google Classroom also has integration with respect to Gemini, and there they have this kind of one can say option which is called re-level text, and this is very much interesting. what's the idea of re-level text? Let me just paste the same text which I have given. But let's say many of the times I read something, I feel it's very good if I can share it with my students, but the language is too heavy because I'm reading stuff which is of, let's say, postdoc level. But my students are, let's say, in standard 12th or they are in just first year of engineering. So what I can do with this re-level tool, what I can do, I can mention some of the keywords which I would like to have as it is, so that AI don't translate them and don't kind of break them down. But other things they can re-level, right? So re-level means I can also set a level. For example, I would like to re-level to, let's say, level 5, right? Fifth standard. I would like to I would like to change this particular text and transform it into a simpler version which can be understood by level 5 student also, grade 5 student also. That's my assumption, and I don't have any keyword, right? Anything they can change, I don't mind. In case of AI deep learning, there must be some keywords so that those words must remain as it is at the time of translation. But here I don't have any. So as you can see, all the green letters, green words which are appearing on the screen, they are introduced by the AI, so that by the Gemini in this particular case, so that students can understand the simplified version. And overall, the idea is same, right? These two paragraphs are also trying to convey the same thing, which is mentioned over here. But here, the idea is, as you can read this, it's very easy to understand for a fifth grade student. So that's the whole idea of this re-label text. And there are other applications also. But yes, Dr. Suresh, what is your query?
Yes, sir. So this is a very nice presentation and very relevant points you have actually thought and explained. So my query is that suppose there are actually, apart from this Gemini and ChatGPT, where also you like the quill board. In the quill board, suppose any sentence we are having, and it will be giving it, and it basically modifies the sentence and gives us some other sentence. So if we
Right.
use one and actually it will be taking the summary of this Gemini or ChatGPT, and in Quillbot, if it's modifying, will it be caught in Turnitin AI plagiarism checker?
So again, sir, the idea is same. Let's say you are working on a particular topic. Let's say topic 1. I'm also working on topic 1, and the strategy which you are using, I am also using the same strategy. Then ultimately, what will happen? Whatever text you are having after LLM and then summarization with, let's say, Quillbot or whatever platform, it's very likely that the outcome looks very much similar, mine as well as yours. And then in the database, like they kind of catch it because of that particular reason. Because they are following some same kind of patterns in order to in order to destroy the patterns, right? So there also some algorithm is there, right? Whatever Quillbot is doing, it's basically trying to write the same idea into active into passive. Like for instead of and, it will use as well as, those kind of things it will do. So again, the answer is same, but again, what you can do is, let's say, if you scientifically, if we address, again, it's unethical, but if we talk just about this particular problem, then with respect to, let's say, I want to design something which is not detectable by any of the AI tools, then first thing what one can do is write by yourself. That is, of course, a solution. In case if you are using AI tools, then you have to ensure that whatever rules you are applying to transform your text, those are unique, right? For example, you can generate your own custom GPT, which performs this task just for you. And your rules will be different from any of the other existing platforms available. But then you must be smart enough to come up with those kind of rules which are non-guessable by platforms like Turnitin. So then the problem is solved. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So the idea is you must understand how Turnitin works. You must understand how the tools are working, and then you are kind of trying to fool both of them. That's the idea of it. So if I talk about ethical use case, then this is the best use case. As you can see, where left hand side I am giving something complex, and I can re-level it and give it to my students so that they can understand the same concept without kind of destroying its facts, right? So here it's a very nice use case. And as you can see, a lot of other use case. I will quickly showcase one use case which I like personally very much. it's about generation of quiz. Of course, we can generate it with Gemini or ChatGPT, but the idea and the advantage of using on this particular platform, Classroom, is that you can not only generate, but you can launch this, you can publish this directly to Classroom. It's integrated with Classroom. So this will save a lot of time of ours, because otherwise, okay, so let me try to demonstrate this so that you can appreciate it. Let me just quickly create 10 questions for 12th grade students, and I am just talking about Python basics. Let's say loops. I will talk about for loops, while loop, and let's say break and continue statement. Okay, some topic of Python I have mentioned, and then first it will generate some objectives. This is also quite interesting because many of the times we have to follow Bloom's taxonomy in our kind of classroom also, and with respect to our courses also, we would like to kind of if we talk about various kind of, one can say, accreditation point of view, if we think like including NAC. So they have specific requirements with respect to learning objectives. So we can fix this learning objectives in alignment to whatever agency we are referring to. And then this system will ensure that whatever objectives have been mentioned, they are kind of being covered in the questions which are being generated, right? And you can generate any type of question, not necessarily just MCQs. You can also generate questions, a long question, short question, true or false. I'm going with MCQs for now, and I will just, and ideally I should go through those objectives and define them, but this is just a demonstration, so I am avoiding to this particular step to save time. So as you can see, it has generated this 10 question. It's also giving me correct answer. This is fine, fantastic, because all the questions are aligned with my topics, and they are also addressing the specific objectives of the course, which is good. But apart from that, the advantage is this particular button, which is export. So as you can see, I have just 3 different options. If I click on export to forms, then automatically a Google form will be created, which will contain this 10 questions. And along with that, it will pick the correct question. So I don't need to spend time on Google form. It has been created automatically, and now it's easy to share. Now I can share this with my students on Classroom, right? After verifying. And of course, it's correct, but still, if I would like to verify, I can verify it quickly. And as you can see previously, even if we have questions, this was a very tedious task, right? We have to kind of copy paste one question from there to here, and then also we have to pick the correct answer, right? So on and so forth. But here it's very easy, and you can also directly publish it to Classroom. This is there. And let me quickly showcase one more use case, which I personally like a lot of Gemini in Classroom. And I will also share this particular link in the chat box so that you can explore this on your own. So again, this is freely available for all the kind of one can say faculty members, as per my knowledge. If you are having collaboration with Google of some sense, usually they provide for free that Google Education account, one can say. But if you are not, if your institute doesn't have this, then you can contact the digital infra team of your institute, and they will enable it for you. So the use case which I was talking about is with respect to lesson plan. So many of the times when we go to the classroom, we don't have time to plan it, right? Because we are also occupied with a lot of other things. So let me just quickly demonstrate this to you, how this can be. I can specifically mention, let's say UG first year I am teaching, and I am teaching a particular topic. Let's say I would like to talk about nothing but GCD, all right? And in GCD, I would like to talk about Euclid's algorithm, okay? And before talking about Euclid's algorithm, I would also like to talk about classroom algorithm, and then applications of this, and also GCD LCM theorem. These are just some topics which I would like to cover. Okay, fine. And then
One question. See,
sure, ma'am. No.
you have mentioned about how to generate quiz and questions and different kind of questions related
Right,
to
right.
objectives, and even you are now developing lesson plan and all. My query
Yes,
is, see, objectives
Mm.
can be same, your different types of question can be okay, but how you will see that the question which is generated, it is
Mm.
completely in alignment of the syllabus which is given Is there anything, because objectives and topic, all those things can be very broad, but we know like for each university, institution, or even for the expert, the syllabus is
Of course, of
different.
course.
So
It's
how
a
you
very yes, it's a very nice question, and I was expecting this question from someone. So there are two answers for this. Just give me a minute. I will demonstrate both the solutions. First, I'm just completing this lesson plan. I will just click on this button, and then I will answer to your question because that requires a different platform where I can showcase practically how we can address that particular question. It's a very relevant question because how will you ensure as an educator that whatever you are teaching and whatever you are asking in the question paper, both the things are aligned? That's the question of ma'am. And it's a fantastic question because whatever is being generated as of now, it is generated based on Gemini's knowledge, not my knowledge, right? So I will reply to this concretely. Just give me a couple of minutes. But before that, I wanted to highlight one interesting feature of this lesson plan. All other things, of course, you can try and go through it. But personally, what I like about this particular tool is this segment, which is called common misconception. So it specifically tells us across the world, whenever people try to explain GCD, then what common misconceptions students are facing. So that before the class, I can go through this particular section and I will be kind of prepared to answer and to address this misconception. Right. So hopefully you understand what I'm trying to highlight over there. Even before going to the class, I know that students may struggle with respect to this kind of questions, and I will address them very nicely. Right, if I know beforehand, right? So that's the idea of this, and of course it will kind of generate nice activities which you can, and as much information as you provide, it will generate personalized activities, right? For now activities are generic, but if I write like my most of my students like cricket and chess, then again activities will be aligned with those hobbies. Or alternatively, I could also mention about some of the topics which I already mentioned, I already covered in the class, so that the activities include those topics also in the kind of response, right? So those way you can add personalizations in the responses. And now, for a particular question. So for that, this particular question, there are two responses. The first response is Notebook LM. So what I can do is, I will go to Notebook LM, and instead of referring to someone else kind of material, what I can do is I can upload some of my material, right? So I'm not spending time on it because I want to save some time over here. So I have uploaded all these videos, as you can see, and all these videos are my own videos, which I have created on my YouTube channel. So there is no issue of copyright because they are mine. So I've uploaded all this. What you can do, you can upload your own PPT over here, right, in your source. And here, if I write that generate 10 questions based on Chinese reminder theorem, then it will refer to only the material which I have provided, and it will kind of have my tone, the question, right? So that student can relate that this is not generated by AI, but actually sir has created this question because everything is based on my material, right? So this is the idea using which you can kind of uh, address this particular issue of personalization, that whatever is being generated, that is generated based on whatever you are teaching in the class. This is the first approach. Let me complete this, then I will also showcase second approach based on
tea,
Chinese divider theorem.
tea
Yes,
break
yes, ma'am.
is also tea break is also there.
Okay, okay. Okay, okay, fine. So just let me just enter this with answers and let's say MCQs. Okay. And then whatever questions will be generated, they will come along with their citation, right? So citation will ensure that they are based on nothing but my material, as you can see, right? So it's giving me citation, right? And that. So as you can see, all of this are making sense because they are based on whatever material I have uploaded, right? And something looks strange because it's more towards mathematics. Therefore, you can see a lot of dollar sign. But trust me, the questions are correct. So I can maybe ask something else, maybe Euclid's algorithm, and just ask theoretical question. Then you will be able to appreciate more without latex symbols. Okay, and just 5 questions. Okay, let's see MCQs. So then you will be kind of able to convey your own voice in the case of, or still it has used, but as you can see, all of these things are kind of discussed in my videos, right? So I know that they are correct, right? So it's also giving me the corresponding, for some strange reason, it is giving me transcription in Hindi, but the answers are kind of based on whatever is being generated is based on the material which I have provided, right? So that's the this first approach. And with respect to Gemini, also you can do this. So if I go back to this particular again Gemini option of Classroom, and that if I go to this generate a quiz, so if you observe carefully, then here also I could okay, I'm let me just create something. But as per my knowledge, we can create some kind of okay. So here it's not there, unfortunately. But of course, what you can do, what I recommend, you can go to ChatGPT or maybe Gemini, and you can upload your own slides, or maybe you can just at least mention the topics and what you have covered, so that you can ensure that whatever is kind of generated, it's aligned with whatever you are teaching. And they allow this kind of uploading mechanism with respect to at least some of the options. I guess for lesson plan, they are allowing like this. As you can see, you can upload something from Drive so that it get directly access to what you have taught, and then whatever is being generated, that will be aligned with those material which you are uploading. Okay. Yes, we can take break now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, sir. So I think we'll join back at 3:30 after a short break.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.